Hello and welcome to the course preview for the Alien 13.1 in Roswell, Georgia. Let's get right into it. This race takes place in August. It starts at 7 p.m., so it's kind of a unique race in that regard. You'll want to get here a little bit early. Make sure you get a light dinner before you get started. Right out the gate, you'll want to go find your pacing group. There's going to be pacers for I think every 5 minutes from like an hour 40 up through 2.5 hours or something like that. So no matter what time you're running, you should find plenty of pacing groups. Throughout this video, kind of speed up and slow down just to show you points of interest along the route and talk about how I would run it. So I am one of the pacers for this race. Been pacing it for 3 or 4 years now, and I've been running it for I don't know, 5 or 6 years or something like that. I also live nearby, so I do a ton of my running out here, and I know the area really, really well. Right here, we're coming up on the mile 1 marker. It's kind of right around here when you turn onto this road. And you'll be going under Georgia 400 here in a second, where the first aid station is. So the first aid station's right coming up here on the right. If it seems early, that's because it is. Right here, right at this marker. It's because there's a 5K and a 10K as well, so they'll be using that aid station. So definitely make use of it. It's going to be hot. That's about the only thing I can guarantee with this race is it's going to be hot. So make it a point to at least get a sip of water anytime you come through an aid station. Mile 2, as we're starting out here, you take this right turn and you kind of stay on Riverside Drive. You've got some trails and woods off to the left here. When we come back, we're actually going to duck into those trails for a minute to do a little loop through there as well. Moving up on mile 2, really all you should be thinking about is making sure you're on top of your fueling strategy. Make a friend. You should still be feeling pretty fresh at this moment. Don't think about pacing too much. Run with a pacing group. And just kind of let them do the work, hang out in the back, and just have a good time and enjoy it. You should be feeling really, really fresh, really energized, really ready to run this race. Right about here, you can see the river cutting in on the right around mile 2. This is one of my favorite parts to run because sometimes you get like a breeze right off the river, and it's like somebody turned the AC on when it hits you just right on the road out here. So hopefully we'll get a breeze coming over to the road when we run this year, but it's never a guarantee. After mile 2, we're coming up into one of my favorite sections of course right here. Again, you've got the river on your right, still keeping things a little bit cooler. We've got the first little bit of elevation kind of around this corner, but honestly, you're going to be feeling so fresh and so good at the start of this race, you're not even going to notice it. The first aid station is coming right up here on the right there. That will be sort of, mile 2.5 and mile, I think it's 3.5 or 4 aid station. We'll be kind of doing a loop and coming back the other way. This is that hill I was talking about. Again, it's really nothing. You kind of roll back down the other side through this nice tree tunnel. Everything's really green and pretty this time of year. It's just a really fun stretch of road to run. Coming up here, we'll be turning right onto Old Riverside, so off of Riverside Drive onto Old Riverside, and it's actually a gravel road. I don't think too much about it. If you're trying to pick shoes, you can see it's a little bit muddy as I'm riding this on my bicycle. It's a little bit muddy, and if you get some rain, there might be some puddles that stick around. Just wear whatever road racing shoes you got. You don't need to worry about, do I need a trail shoe or something like that. There's going to be a few points where it's like mixed surfaces, like you're going to be running gravel here, in the woods I mentioned previously, and then there's some boardwalk towards the end of the race. But for the most part, it's on the road. So, whatever carbon plated shoe or racing shoe you want to run in should be just fine. This is a really pretty stretch right here. A lot of unique homes and stuff, so take some time, sit back, enjoy it, and just kind of check out the sights. It's all I can really recommend to you through this section of the course rather. Coming up, you'll have the sort of exit of Old Riverside Road right here, and that same aid station is going to be right there on your right there, so you can kind of grab the back of that aid station. You're going to be staying right at mile 4. You'll stay in the left-hand lane, and so that left lane is going to be shut down, or the oncoming traffic lane rather is going to be shut down for the race. I'm riding on the right side because I'm on a bicycle, but definitely stay to your left. You might run into some issues like oncoming traffic if you're a faster runner, where you'll have sort of the back of the pack to coming through there. Likewise, if you're towards the back of the pack, be mindful, stay close to that center line, keep to your left side, and allow the faster runners to come through. All right, mile 5. You should still be feeling pretty good. Make sure you stay on top of your fueling strategy at this point. If you haven't eaten something by mile 5, please make sure you get something in you. Don't wait until you feel fatigued. Otherwise, you're going to be in for a long evening. The cycling group that's passing me on the left and is also parked up here on the right is Spike Roswell. They're a 501c3 that advocates for safer streets in Roswell for cycling, so shout out to them. I'm going to cut over right here and get up on the gravel myself, so you'll be following this route when you run. In a minute, we're going to duck into the woods here. So you kind of hang this left. It might look a little bit confusing, but there will be plenty of signage and lights and other people running. You'll know exactly where to go. So we tuck into the woods. We kind of go behind the tennis courts for Martin's Landing. They've got their, I guess, community center over there to the left. And we'll have kind of the river ahead of us. There's some berms and stuff. We're not really going to see it from here, but it does get nice and dark and cool in this stretch. One important thing to note is your GPS is not going to know where you are. So if you're using your Garmin or your Coros or whatever your running watch of choice is, keep in mind the GPS might bounce around, the pace might be off a little bit. So running with a pacing group, definitely stick with that pacing group. They've been training to kind of lock in that pace. Again, just let them do the work for you. This is a really cool spot when you're running it early in the mornings because you'll see like a bunch of deer and stuff, and they're quite used to humans, so they'll be right off to the sides of the trail as you're running through. In a minute here, we're going to kind of pop back up on the main road, but we'll stay in the gravel. So we're going to hang this left, and we'll be going back towards Georgia 400. Here we should be coming up on mile 6. This will be the back of that aid station for mile 1. You should be able to get something to drink there as well. River's nice and cool right here. We'll be getting up onto this trail that will go towards Don. Light incline here, but again, you're probably not going to notice. It's very slight. And you kind of roll back down the other side. You've got Don White Park coming up right here on your left. This really nice section of trail. In 2023, this section was closed. They were basically rebuilding the trail out here, and they did a really great job. So enjoy this newly paved section with some nice bridges and really nice landscaping. So I really enjoy running through there now. Shout out to the city of Roswell for that one. In a minute here, we'll be kind of coming back into Riverside Park. When you turn in, I got to tell you that the atmosphere is absolutely electric when you do. This is when you'll probably be turning in when the 5K, 10K are finishing. There's going to be people cheering, bands playing. It's kind of like a festival atmosphere that you just sort of run through, which is really, really fun. So you'll go back through here and you'll pass back towards the lawn area where you probably saw some vendors and stuff, food trucks, all that good stuff setting up. Coming up here, you're going to have an aid station on your right there. That's sort of a last chance to get some water before you get back out on the road. Really, important thing to note here is you don't let the pace get away from you. You come out the backside of that park, and even pacing it, I just want to run because there's so much energy when you come through that section. And I really love this shot coming across the bridge here. When you get under here, this section of boardwalk right here might be a little bit sketchy. You can see some cones there on the right, so watch out for that. There's, sometimes a few little hazards, but there will be, plenty of lights and cones and markers. Right here, you're going to get back on the road. I'm staying on the path because I'm riding a bicycle. I'm kind of just waiting for it to be safe for me to get over. So right about here, I cut over. Again, you'll stay in that oncoming traffic side. That will be closed and dedicated for the race. I'm just riding my bike on the right side because the road's not closed. The next park coming up will be Azalea Park. And right after Azalea Park, there should be another aid station. So plenty of aid stations on this course. Make sure you're stopping and picking up water, picking up fuel. Definitely bring your own fuel as well. And, make sure you stay on top of that fueling strategy. I think this is mile 8. Yeah. So typically, I'm taking fuel if I'm racing it every 3 or 4 miles. So this might be my cue right here, depending on how I'm feeling, to take a gel myself. Definitely make sure you fuel up before you hit this next corner. After this corner, you hit the only real 2 hills of the course. So there's 2 kind of rollers in the back. Normally, most days you don't even think about them when you're driving over them or riding a bike over them, but when they come on, mile 9 of a half marathon, they can trip you up if you're not ready for them. So definitely make sure you stay on top of fuel, staying on top of hydration. If you wait until then to realize you need something, it's far too late. Coming around this corner here, we'll be coming up towards the Chattahoochee Nature Center, and that'll be the next aid station. This is that first little hill right here. The first one's much smaller. You can just go up this side of it. You can see it doesn't look like much on camera, but it definitely feels like a little bit more if you're struggling. So just be prepared for it. If you need to, drop the pace a little bit, conserve your heart rate, and then pick back up on the other side. Right here is mile 9, and the Chattahoochee Nature Center is to your right, and there should be an aid station here to your left. So make sure you're covered after that first hill and get ready because the second one's coming shortly thereafter. You sort of come around this little corner, and then there's another tree tunnel, and then you'll kind of hit that second hill right around here. This one's definitely steeper. It's caught me out a few times, and it's definitely ruined my day once or twice when I was racing this. So again, take your time, shuffle your feet, shorten that stride, just put that thing in low gear and get to the top of it. Usually about right here is when I think about that beer ticket on my bib, and I'm really excited to get back to the park to enjoy a beer with my friends. Coming back in here, mile 10, you can see the arrow flash kind of quickly, but there should be another aid station there for you. This is technically Willio Park. It's kind of just like a little parking lot, but people do launch kayaks and go fishing and stuff out here. But mostly it's just parking for this trailhead. We'll get back on the trail, and we're going to take this trail the whole way back. At this point, if you're feeling good, I encourage you just to go for it. You're on that last 3-mile stretch. If you're feeling fantastic, drop your pacing group, start to lean into it and pick up that pace a little bit. If you're kind of like, I don't know, it could go either way, I'm not too confident yet, give it some more time. Because again, you're running on the boardwalk, which I find it personally a little bit harder to keep the pace on the boardwalk. And also, there's some twists and turns, not this section necessarily, but coming up on sort of the next section of boardwalk, it does have some twists and turns, so it's kind of hard to get into a groove and get set in your pace. So mile 11, you can hit the back side of that Chattahoochee Nature Center aid station if you need it. Again, if you're still feeling a little bit iffy, hang in there for another mile, because once you get back on that paved section right around mile 11 and a half, mile 12, that should give you plenty of runway if you want to do a nice kick there. At this point it'll be pretty dark, so make sure you have a headlamp I don't know if I've mentioned that before, but there will be small lights and stuff along the railings. It's really pretty, but not very functional in terms of helping you see. So either stay with a group that's got a headlamp, or I highly recommend you to bring a headlamp of your own and test it out, charge your batteries, change your batteries, whatever, before you start this race. So yeah, you can see this section right here. It kind of twists and turns a little bit. If you're trying to run it pretty fast, it can be kind of awkward at times, especially if you're running with a larger group of people or if you're trying to pass people. So if you're feeling not great, just kind of hang out, get through this section, and then when you turn right here onto the path, go ahead and start your kick. But if you're barely hanging on, just hang in there. One important note about this course is it might come up a little bit short. I think I've had something like 12.9 or 13 on the watch before. Part of that is just because of all those twists and turns, and because of the wooded sections. This course is measured by wheel, so it is a half marathon course, even if it comes up a little bit short on your watch. Mile 12, and your last chance for aid right there on the left, the back side of that mile 8 aid station at the Nantahala Outdoor Center. Coming back through Azalea Park on our way to Riverside Park. So last mile, whatever you got at this point. Anybody can come up with anything for that last mile, right? It will be pretty dark, and there are some roots and stuff that kind of buckle the trail here in places. So just be cautious, keep an eye out. Don't trip over any of the park entries right here. There's some little curbs to kind of go over. Just watch your footing. Don't need to blow a knee or blow an ankle out in your last mile of your half marathon there. All right, so we're turning back onto the bridge, going under Highway 9. And right about here is when you should be hitting that mile 13 point. From here on out, I'll slow down the video just so you can kind of see what it's like coming back into the park in real time. So if you enjoyed this video, just let me know in the comments. If there's other races we want to preview, give me a shout out, and hope to see you out there on the course. When you turn into the park right here, you'll have the band playing. The start finish is kind of set up like right in front of the stage, so it's a really cool experience. There's going to be people cheering you on the left side here. There's always people lined up hanging out, waiting for their friends to finish, all that good stuff. It's a really great energy coming into the park here. You'll stay to the right. Again, you got the stage right there in front of you, so make it look good. Make sure you smile. There will be photography probably right around here somewhere. Check us out, alienhalf.com, if you haven't signed up already. Thanks for watching.